How to beat King Slime without getting hit once. Now, I will be operating under the impression that this is within the limitations of my 300 times spawn rate, 1 HP, legendary difficulty, hardcore Terraria challenge. However, anyone could do this with full health. After I'm done making this series of reviews on the bosses, I will likely revisit my challenge series, and this will help me prepare as best as I can. Anyways, I will describe 3 methods. 1 is a fair battle, where neither I nor the boss have a significant advantage. 2 is a tactical advantage on my part. I'll have a better chance than the boss does. However, I can still technically die. And 3 is cheese. Basically, the boss is screwed. I will explain the preferred preparation for each boss that I make these videos on. However, I will highlight other possibilities, since everyone has different playstyles and separate methods of how they wish to fight. Let's get started. So, preparation. Let's start with armor. I would say Flink's fur coat. I mean, you probably don't want to fight him up close, so having close range armor doesn't really make much sense if you're trying not to get hit. If you've managed to find a snow biome, and you've dug for quite a bit, you'll likely have one by the time you're gonna fight King Slime. If you don't want to do that, I guess you can go for wizard set or jungle armor for magic stuff, and maybe fossil armor if you're using a bow. These are tougher to get, but viable options. I myself am not much of a magic or range user, so I go summons. Plus, I want to reduce the chances of dying, so I'll probably just let it do all the work for me instead of trying to battle him myself. Less risky. Defense doesn't really matter, so I don't prioritize armor that only increases that. Weapons. Obviously, no melee. Melee equals death. But if you really need to do it, here. Star Fury. There, good luck. Good weapons to use instead are bows. Whatever bow you're able to get your hands on works perfectly fine. Arrow-wise, preferably Frostburn arrows and Jester arrows. I like Frostburn because of the high damage that you can do to one thing, but Jester is good for piercing. Either work. If that's not viable, you can just roll with flame arrows. That's what I used in my series. Other good weapons, Snowball Cannon. I underestimated this one. The damage isn't much, but the fire rate more than makes up for it. Strong weapon. All guns work, but you'd have to break a Shadow Orb or Crimson Heart, or present during Christmas, I think? Not really available at all times. Plus, if you're fighting King Slime, I'm assuming you haven't really gone to try to do the Crimson or Corruption yet. Sticky grenades are really good, since they do the most damage in pre-hard mode, but just stay away from them when you throw them, because they do blow up when they hit the boss, so just don't make the same mistake that I made. Don't be too close. Don't be too close. Magic-wise, any staffs or staves, whatever. A staff of any kind works here. Sapphire, emerald, ruby, diamond. Takes a lot of mining, but possible. Especially if you've got enough rubies to make some King Slime summons. You should have enough leftover rubies to make a staff. Summoner-wise, the Flinks and Finch staff are solid choices. And since they can fly at the boss, it'll be a really good option. If you're insane at the game and somehow got the Vampire Frog staff, that's fantastic, use that. But if you haven't managed to get any of these, and if your character is hardcore, then when you kill an NPC, they should drop a gravestone. Then you can just wait for an Abigail's Rose to spawn, completely easy to acquire, and a solid choice. Also, I guess you can use whips. I don't like them, but I know a lot of people do. Leather Whip or Snapthorn are good. Snapthorn is a little challenging to get, but I think you can do it. They just don't have enough range for me, I don't know, but they work. Anyways, my favorite weapon against him and what I highly recommend is Molotov cocktails. Oh, damn, are these good. Not only do they not affect you, but they do so much damage. Highly recommend this one. Beautiful weapon. Most people don't know how to make a Molotov cocktail, but it's not that complicated, don't worry. You make a sawmill, you make a keg, You get a couple mugs, make some ale, and boom, you can make a Molotov cocktail with silk, 10 ale, and a torch. Easy, not that bad. Now, we're moving on to accessories. All right. This one's not too complicated. If you've gotten to this point, I'm assuming you've at least been able to fish, hopefully. If not, that's okay, but preferably, I would want you to have sailfish boots, frog legs, tsunami in a bottle, and a balloon. All things that you can get from fishing. Mainly just stuff to give you vertical movement, incredibly helpful for escaping King Slime. We are operating under the assumption that you haven't beaten any other bosses or events prior to this big fella, so you don't have any other helpful items that you may have gotten from those encounters. For potions, swiftness, that's it. Basically, nothing else would really help much unless it's specific to your build, like an archery potion, but swiftness is always necessary, so. All right, we've made it past the preparation phase. Let's take a look at the battle methods we're gonna use. First up, the fair fight. So for this one, the arena is just a reasonably sized room with no platforms or at max one platform that you can hop onto during the fight. Nothing too special here, keeps the fight fair and fun for both sides battling. Yeah. For the example that I'm gonna show, since I'm playing in legendary difficulty, he's a little bit bigger, so I'm scaling the room up to match his size. I need enough room to be able to dodge his attacks and be able to fight back as well. From doing this battle myself, I've come to the conclusion that as long as you stay close to him or on his level, he won't try to TP away. But the moment that you go, you'll have either a jump or two's delay, and then he'll try to teleport to you. What you want to do is you want to stay on the platform that he's on, and then drop to make him fall down, and then jump back up so that way he can't reach you. If he uses his super jump, you should be okay because you'll have enough momentum from the sailfish boots to be able to avoid that attack going forward. Either that or you can dodge underneath it. As he gets smaller, he's going to get quicker, which means you're going to have to employ a bit more dodging mechanics to not get hit by him. As you can see from my battle, I gauge whether or not this is a dodge underneath or a jump over him situation. As he gets smaller, the situations where I dodge underneath him grow. Because his hitbox is smaller, so the chances that I'll die from that risk is a lot lower compared to going above him since he can jump quicker now. I like to stay on the same level as him for about 2 jumps and then jump over him in his bigger form. So when he's bigger, you want to keep him below you to some degree. And as he gets smaller, you want him to stay above you a lot more in comparison, because the speed of his jumps are going to be a lot more trouble when he's a small fry. And that is how we beat King Slime in a fair fight. All right, time to make him suffer a little bit. Let's move on to the other strategies. Here we go. So, this next one is a bit of a tactical advantage on my part. For this one, you're just gonna build a really long rectangular room with a layer of lava at the bottom. Not enough to the point that you're slowed, but enough that you can run across it with an obsidian potion and not have to worry about anything. Basically, you're just gonna run across this place and just let him die to the lava. He takes a lot of damage from lava, so it shouldn't take long. My basic strategy with this one is I see him hop, and when he's about to land on the ground, I start running away to build up my momentum so that way if he does decide to teleport, I can keep going, and if he doesn't, I can slow down. It lets me be in a position where I can let myself have a good chance of surviving. Also, I'm staying a decent distance close to him so that way he TPs less. I want to make sure I use as much of the room as possible so that I don't run out and he just kills me at the end, which happened a couple times when I was testing this. So make sure your room is long enough and make sure that you have enough momentum that he's not going to get ya. And don't let him TP too much. By the way, you can get obsidian potions from crates, which is crazy. And finally, time for the cheese strat. Let me check what I wrote down for this one. Oh, hoik. Yeah, so basically, you want to get some rope and climb up like 30 blocks worth of rope. A little bit more if you're in legendary difficulty, because he's really big. And just place some platforms and some blocks above your head and just hammer them like this. And then anything that tries to teleport into that space will automatically be moved above it. You don't need to know anything else about how this works or the intricacies of it. Just do this and you'll be fine. You want to make sure that you have it be a bit of a good section too. If you don't have enough blocks above you, one of his minions could drop down and kill you. And obviously you can combine other strats with this one, like having lava at the bottom. But yeah, this one is super easy and you won't die. Like 0% chance if you did everything right. Completely unfair for the boss. Also, the cheese strats for most of the bosses in this series will be stuff from Sorbet Cafe's How to Cheese Every Boss in Terraria video. A lot of helpful stuff. Quick, concise, and just simply showed how to do it. Fantastic video, and I highly recommend it. My version of these is focused more on the 1 HP thing, so some methods that he used don't fully work with this. So there are going to be definite differences. But that's it. That's King Slime done. By the way, after I finish making this series of boss reviews and how best to beat them without getting hit, I will have you guys vote on which of the 3 methods I have to use in order to fight the bosses. That is to say, you guys pick whether I fight the boss using the fair strat, the tactical one, or the cheese one. For my revamped 300 times spawn rate, 1 HP, legendary difficulty, hardcore Terraria challenge. That's right, it's coming back after I finish this. If you guys want me to suffer, you can just pick the fair strat for them all, but the time to vote for that stuff will come when these are all done. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. If not, then damn.